The Miseducation of Isaiah 53, book number 7 in the False Fulfillment Citation Series, available at www.amazon.com. Who was the servant leading up to Isaiah 53? Isaiah 41:8. But thou, Israel, art my servant, Jacob, whom I have chosen, the seed of Abraham, my friend. Isaiah 44:1. Yet now hear, O Jacob, my servant, and Israel, whom I have chosen. Isaiah 45:4. For Jacob, my servant's sake, and Israel, mine elect, I have even called thee by thy name. I have surnamed thee, though thou hast not known me. Isaiah 49:3. And said unto me, Thou art my servant, O Israel, in whom I will be glorified. Who is the him and he in Isaiah 53? We know Israel is referred to in the singular in many places in the Tanakh. Isaiah 43:10. You are my witnesses, said the Lord, and my servant whom I have chosen. Hosea 8:3. Israel hath cast off the thing that is good. The enemy shall pursue him. Hosea 11:1. When Israel was a child, then I loved him, and called my son out of Egypt. Isaiah 57:17. For the iniquity of his covetousness was I wroth and smote him. I hid me and was wroth, and he went on waywardly in the way of his heart. Who is the servant after Isaiah 53? Isaiah 54:17. No weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper, and every tongue that shall rise against thee in judgment thou shalt condemn. This is the heritage of the servants of the Lord, and the righteousness is of me, saith the Lord. Isaiah 65:9. And I will bring forth a seed out of Jacob, and out of Judah an inheritor of my mountains, and mine elect shall inherit it, and my servants shall dwell there. I showed earlier who the elect in this servant was leading up to this point. We are healed. Isaiah 53:5. With his stripes, we are healed. Jesus did not leave Israel healed. He left them to be destroyed by the Romans. Luke 24:21. But we trusted that it had been he who should have redeemed Israel. Luke 13:35. Behold, your house is left unto you desolate. That is not healing, that is abandonment. Acts 26:10. Which things I also did in Jerusalem, and many of the saints did I shut up in prison, having received authority from the chief priests, and when they were put to death, I gave my voice against them. That's not leaving them healed, that's leaving them to die. The shepherd that leaves the flock. Jesus tells you he is not the shepherd, but a hireling that leaves the flock to the wolves. John 10:12. When the hired hand sees the wolf coming, he leaves the sheep and runs away. That's because he isn't the shepherd. The sheep aren't really his. So the wolf attacks the sheep and scatters them. James 1:1. James, a servant of God and of the Lord Jesus Christ, to the 12 tribes which are scattered abroad. Zechariah 11:17. Woe to the idle shepherd that leadeth the flock. So who was the plant in the dry ground in Isaiah 53? Isaiah 53:2. For he shall grow up before him as a tender plant, and as a root out of dry ground. Ezekiel 19:12-13. But she was plucked up in fury. She was cast down to the ground, and the east wind dried up her fruit. Her strong rods were broken and withered. The fire consumed them. And now she is planted in the wilderness in a dry and thirsty ground. Isaiah 5:7. For the vineyard of the Lord of hosts is the house of Israel, and the mid of Judah his pleasant plant. Who divides the spoil? Isaiah 53:12. Therefore I will divide him a portion with the great, and he shall divide the spoil with the strong. Zechariah 14:1. Behold, the day of the Lord cometh, and thy spoil shall be divided in the midst of thee. Isaiah 61:6. But ye shall be named the priest of the Lord. Men shall call you the ministers of our God. Ye shall eat the riches of the Gentiles, and in their glory ye shall boast yourselves. So when Israel, the ministers of our God, who are the priests of the Lord, not just one person, those are the ones that will divide the spoil. What does it mean to pour out your soul unto death? Isaiah 53:12. Because he hath poured out his soul unto death. Job 30:16. And now my soul is poured out upon me. The days of affliction have taken hold upon me. Lamentations 2:12. They say to their mothers, where is corn and wine? When they swoon as the wounded in the streets of the city, when their soul was poured out into their mother's bosom. 1 Samuel 1:15. And Hannah answered and said, no, my Lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but I have poured out my soul before the Lord. So we see in these situations, it's simply a very emotional prayer. What does unto death mean when you pour out your soul unto death? Judges 16:16. And it came to pass, when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him, so that his soul was vexed unto death. Matthew 26:38. Then he said unto them, my soul is exceedingly sorrowful, even unto death. Tarry ye here and watch with me. Now we know that Samson and Jesus did not die, although their souls were vexed unto death. Now in the case of Samson, he was just annoyed. In the case of Jesus, he was in the garden praying, and his soul was exceedingly sorrowful unto death when he was pouring out his soul, because he knew he was going to die, but he did not die in the situation, yet unto death his soul was exceedingly sorrowful. So if we put this in context with 1 Samuel 1:15, and Hannah answered and said, no, my Lord, I am a woman of a sorrowful spirit. I have drunk neither wine nor strong drink, but have poured out my soul before the Lord. She could have also said she poured out her soul unto death, because she has the same sorrowful spirit or exceedingly sorrowful spirit as Jesus had in Matthew 26:38. We see this as a figure of speech. Jonah 4:9. And God said to Jonah, doest thou well to be angry over the gourd? And he said, I do well to be angry, even unto death. Again, very annoyed situation and very emotional situation. So we see unto death is just a figure of speech. So you can pour out your soul unto death and have an exceedingly sorrowful spirit or soul unto death and not actually die. Must you die to bear the iniquity of anyone? Ezekiel the priest bore the sins of Israel without dying nor shedding blood. Ezekiel 4:4-6. Also lie thou upon thy left side, and lay the iniquity of the house of Israel upon it, according to the number of the days that thou shalt lie upon it. Thou shalt bear their iniquity. For I have laid upon thee the years of their iniquity, according to the number of the days, 390 days, so shalt thou bear the iniquity of the house of Israel. And when thou hast accomplished them, lie again on thy right side, and thou shalt bear their iniquity of the house of Judah 40 days. I have appointed thee each day for a year. So here we see a priest bearing the iniquity of Israel without shedding any blood nor giving any sacrifices. The Israelites bore the sins of their fathers in the past. This is not a new concept. Lamentations 5:7. Our fathers have sinned and are no more, and we have borne their iniquities. The priests bore the sins of the congregation without dying. So we see this pattern. Leviticus 10:17. Why have you not eaten the sin offering in the holy place, seeing it is most holy, and God hath given it to you to bear the iniquity of the congregation, to make atonement for them before the Lord? So we see the priests, again, as Ezekiel did, bearing the iniquity of the congregation. And we know Israel is a nation of priests, and they say, we have borne the iniquities of our fathers. So this is not a new concept at all, yet they were not sacrificed in order to do this. The knowledge of the servant, not blood, delivers many or justifies many. Isaiah 53:11. He shall see the travail of his soul and shall be satisfied. By his knowledge shall my righteous servant justify many, for he shall bear their iniquities. We've already established who the servant is. We've already established that people can bear the iniquities without dying. Proverbs 11:9. A hypocrite with his mouth destroyeth his neighbor, but through knowledge shall the just be delivered, or the righteous be delivered. Ecclesiastes 7:12. For wisdom is a safeguard, as money is a safeguard. But the excellency of knowledge is that wisdom giveth life to them that have it. Proverbs 3:18. She is a tree of life to those who take hold of her. Those who hold her fast will be blessed. Daniel 12:3. And they that are wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. So we see here knowledge and wisdom is the key to delivering the souls of the people. The servant is the righteous remnant. The righteous remnant will include the Messiah that will have no deceit in their mouths. Isaiah 62:2. And the Gentiles shall see thy righteousness, and all kings thy glory. Zephaniah 3:12-13. But I will leave within you the meek and humble. The remnant of Israel will trust in the name of the Lord. They will do no wrong. They will tell no lies. A deceitful tongue will not be found in their mouths. They will eat and lie down, and no one will make them afraid. Conclusion. I cover these topics and many more in this book of over 500 pages. The miseducation of Isaiah 53 puts to rest any notion Jesus was a suffering servant. Hit the like button, subscribe, check out the other videos, the other PowerPoints of the False Fulfillment Citation series available at www.amazon.com. Thanks for listening.